Why do you have a Netflix subscription when you have $8,000 in high interest debt?
Because I like to watch movies, instead of just sitting in the dark thinking about my student debt. Come here. The only difference between the student debt and the Netflix payment is that at least the Netflix payment is going to get paid every month. Come here. That student debt is never going to get paid. I'm not going to lie to you.
A grown adult needs a standout dinner party question. The perfect question is one that can be used in any situation.
This dinner party question I'm about to give you guys right now is a very intense question, right? Once you hear this question, you cannot unhear it, okay? This question has ended relationships. It has also formed new friendships. I ask myself this question before every single major decision in my life. Come here. Are you guys ready? What is a life that you want for yourself? And what is a life that your parents want for you? And are they the same thing? And if they're not, which life are you living right now? And are you happy?
Some girls really do only talk to one dude.
See, and the funny thing is, right, come here. A lot of guys assume that girls are talking to multiple guys at one time, right? When in all reality, okay, girls are normally only talking about one guy. The majority of girls are talking to no guys at all because they simply just don't want to, right? The day in the life of a girl normally goes like this, right? They'll wake up, they normally skip breakfast. Their breakfast normally consists of iced coffee. Then they'll go to work, right? Show up just in time, like not late, but definitely not early. And then they'll come home from work. They'll have the one meal of the day, and then they will watch their TV show. Normally it's a TV show they've been excited to watch or a TV show that they've watched multiple times, right? Then they will stay up way too late, then go to bed and wake up and repeat the whole entire thing.
Are you trying to achieve greatness or are you trying to avoid disappointment?
I had plans today. I did, honestly. I woke up excited to leave the house, right? But thanks to the free therapy session that just happened, right? I went from excited to go try new pizza to now realizing I didn't want to go to college. I didn't even do it for me, to be honest with you.
Card in there. So that way, all the photos and all my contacts save to this. And
for people who were born in the 90s, come here. We are officially old enough to where the technology that we had when we were growing up is getting rediscovered at this point. In that video, she was explaining that on the back of flip phones, right, there's a micro SD card under the battery, and people were like so amazed by it. That's just the technology that we used to have for cell phones, right? A couple weeks ago, somebody else was explaining that they wish that somebody would create a phone that everybody can use that was mainly in the house. That's a landline phone. Okay, at this point, it's just, I'm so scared. Literally, I was substitute teaching, and I brought one of these things, and I asked, what is this? The entirety of the class, nobody could tell me what this was. I didn't even give them the answer. I don't even think they want the answer.
Are at a point where I think we're kind of at the death of like careers.
There is no such thing as a career anymore. Come here, because nobody wants a career anymore. You want to know why? Because the new workforce, the new generation of workforce, they're not working for the sake of getting promoted to have a good, long-lasting job. We are all working to survive. You cannot have a career if every single day you are worried about if you're going to be able to keep your job or not. Companies are not instilling any trust at all with their workers. The last job I had, there was somebody who was working at that job for about 20 years. You want to know what happened? That company laid him off. They fired him via email on his day off. So if companies can do that, what's the point of actually wanting a career? Now we're just looking for jobs that can pay good enough to keep our groceries in our house.
Does the millennial generation have a midlife crisis?
Millennials do not have a midlife crisis. Come here. It was already said so beautifully. Millennials cannot have a midlife crisis because every single day is a brand new crisis, right? We are living in a time right now where millennials have not had a break from historical events happening in current times. Millennials have lived through 2 recessions right now, right? Ask a millennial when's the last time they were able to sit down and relax and not stress about anything. I promise you they'll have to think about it. A midlife crisis insinuates you have enough money to buy and do things that you wish you would have done when you were younger. Millennials have the same financial status as Gen Z right now, which is paycheck to paycheck and just buying things hoping that the card goes through.
Does the millennial generation have a midlife crisis?
Millennials do not have a midlife crisis. Come here. It was already said so beautifully. Millennials cannot have a midlife crisis because every single day is a brand new crisis, right? We are living in a time right now where millennials have not had a break from historical events happening in current times. Millennials have lived through 2 recessions right now, right? Ask a millennial when's the last time they were able to sit down and relax and not stress about anything. I promise you they'll have to think about it. A midlife crisis insinuates you have enough money to buy and do things that you wish you would have done when you were younger. Millennials have the same financial status as Gen Z right now, which is paycheck to paycheck and just buying things hoping that the card goes through. I think people think that I am an actual professor because people kept asking me after this video, what do pheromones mean? Like I went to school for that, but just coincidentally, I do know what those mean. So pheromones are actually something that is in a specific scent that will attract mammals, right? And fun fact, I have both of these specific perfumes that can do that. It's pure instinct. And there's an oil that releases a pheromone that will make mammals more attracted to each other. Am I terrified of using that just for the fact that I don't know what it would do for me or other mammals, but I can only imagine it would not be, a boring evening. I'll say that. I secretly put some on my brother's jacket. I'll let you know how that goes.
What's an unwritten rule from your world that rich people just wouldn't understand?
Spaghetti. Come here. Spaghetti. Get so close right now. When you're growing up, right, and you guys are struggling, the minute that you come home and you see that spaghetti has been made for dinner, that is going to be dinner for the next 5 or 6 days, I promise you, right? Spaghetti is the one meal that when you're struggling, that is the go-to meal, right? All the way up until you're an adult, the minute that you hear about spaghetti, you automatically assume you're going to be having it for days on end.
What's a piece of information that you learned that feels illegal to know?
You guys cannot tell KFC that I told you this. Come here. I've been recently sharing fast food secrets with everybody, right? And the fast food establishments have not been too happy about it. I recently shared the Five Guys unlimited bacon trick, where Five Guys does not charge for extra bacon or extra cheese. You can get as much bacon and as much cheese as you want. It is free completely, right? Well, I have a friend that works at KFC and he told me this one. KFC does free refills on buckets of chicken. Come here. Their policy is, as long as you finish the bucket of chicken within an hour, you can get the bucket of chicken refilled for free. Now, they don't have to see you eat the bucket of chicken. Just have the box empty. Do with that information what you will.
If they float, like homeboy in the middle or on the right, nah, throw him out.
So I sent this to my family, right? Come here. Apparently, if you put eggs in a container of water, right, any eggs that float to the top are bad eggs, but any eggs that sink to the bottom are good eggs and they're fresh. Now, my mom was like, do not take all of our eggs and put them in a container of water. Just trust that they're fresh. And I said, Mom, don't you worry. I already did it because I wanted to protect the family. All my eggs were in this container of water here. All of them sank to the bottom except for one egg. Come here. We're always talking about there's always one bad egg. Well, I found it. My mom doesn't know I did this yet, but I'm trying to protect the family at this point.
Have you ever quit your job and then interacted with your old coworkers?
The chemistry is never the same after somebody quits, right? Come here. Normally when you're at a job, you always have that coworker or that group of coworkers, right? Where when you guys are together, the chemistry is amazing. It's like you guys are best friends. When you guys are scheduled with each other, you either get no work done at all because you're joking around all the time, or you get all the work done because you guys work so well together, right? It's like you guys are in group chats, you're hanging out all the time. The minute somebody quits the job, right, and they try to come back and hang out with you, it's never the same. The chemistry never reaches back to what it originally was, right? So if you're working with somebody right now, enjoy it while you can, because the minute somebody quits, come here, it's not going to be the same.
Do you know that dogs won't eat when you're not home? And the reason that is because they don't.
So he said that apparently dogs do not eat when their owners are not at the house because they don't know when their owners are going to come back. Come here. So they want to save as much food as possible. Well, I don't think anybody told my dog that because this is Tulip. Say hi, Tulip. This little girl here, I left the house for 20 minutes. She ate half the bag of food that I bought her for the week. And mind you, we feed her regularly. Not only that, she ate my lunch that I left on the counter that day, out for 20 minutes. I went to go check the mail. Somebody needs to tell her that she should probably save some food just for me because she ate all of my McDonald's.
I just found out that men don't know what crying horizontally means.
One of the funny thing, come here, a lot of guys don't know what crying is. Just in general, a lot of guys don't know how to cry or process their emotions, let alone different versions of crying, right? The closest thing that will happen is that if something really sad happens to a guy, they'll say one sentence. And that sentence is, it's all good. They don't say, I'm all good. They don't say, we're all good. They say, it's all good. If a guy says, it's all good, that is translation for, I'm very sad and I have a lot of unprocessed emotion. Now, what horizontal crying means, luckily I found that out. It took a lot of research. Horizontal crying is where you cry looking at the ground so that the tears don't go down the face and smear the makeup. That is the legal definition.